उपदेश शास्त्री 1871 से बुद्धेश पतियास तस्मात् आत्मा भाचन दीप्ता राहिता एव भासन्ते jahanti bolvukadaya, just as torches and other things appear to be possessed of power of burning on account of there being fire in them, so the modification of intellect illumined by the reflection of self appear to be endowed with the power of perception, illumining power of the self transferred through intellect, which gets grasping power or knowerhood from the self. It is an unfortunate deed, as in return, what the self gets is miseries of the world. The intellect which are illumined appears as though knowers, graspers, and perceivers, etc. Intellect begins to lend some light to the sense organs also, which further illumine the other world objects. Verse 72 says, Swaymev avhasante grahaka swaymev sa tevam grahatitvam prasiddhyat chaukta. The Buddhist philosophers forbid the existence of a witness by saying that the modification of intellect are themselves perceived and also perceived by themselves. Thanik Vigyanwadi or Yogachar people say, Swaymev avhasante, the Buddhi pratyaya is science by themselves. Momentary intellect modification is original or natural, and the inlet consciousness, they do not accept witness Chaitanyam as the lending consciousness. According to them, momentary Chaitanyam alone is there. It is the Chaitanya series, which is the self. They say intellect is illuminating because of its own consciousness. Therefore, Swayameva Grahaka, verse 73-74 says, Yadi evam no anya disjaste, किम तद वर्णम उचिता भावा भावो ही तेसा यो नो अन्य ग्राह्यो तथा यदि if buddhi pratyaja not illumined by the eternal consciousness or if appearance and disappearance of intellectual modifications are not illumined by a witness consciousness as said by Buddha, how can their theory be disputed? They say that intellect is the consciousness and it shines by itself, and also say that modification in the intellect shines by themselves. अन्विग्राहकस्तेषाम् इति एतत् अपि तत्सम अचिति तु अस्य तुल्यत्वात् अन्यस्मिन् ग्राहके सति. The persistent knower etc. is not aware of the origin and end of mind's fluctuation. If it be said that knowledge of I am that witness is enough to repudiate Buddhist view, even then it is not enough, for the Buddhist concept of Pradhan as the knower of mental fluctuation is to make an insentient entity endowed with the sentience. This is impossible, for an insentient cannot distinguish between the being and non-being. The contention that consciousness can illumine its own modification does not stand to reason, and since all other modifications of things are illumined, we have to accept that there is one factor that illumines everything and which itself does not change. If it is said that momentary consciousness is witnessed, then they will become insentient because consciousness is always a witness and never be witnessed. Nobody can talk about his own birth or death. To talk about my own death or my own absence, I must be present, and if I am there, my absence will not be there. And since I and my absence cannot coexist, I can never talk about my non-presence, that is death. Similarly, birth also, I cannot talk about. Verse 1875 says, Adhyakthas samipetu siddhisya iti chen matam no adhyakte anukaritva anyatra api prasangata. If it is said that presence and absence of modification will be none owing to the bare presence of the witness consciousness, the changeless Lord will be of no utility in that respect. If it could change them with mere presence, then everything would become illuminated, and witness consciousness is everywhere. Outside objects are not illumined because Chidavas formation is not there, whereas intellect gets illumined because of Chidavas formation.